Welcome to Haken, an Animal Crossing podcast. I'm your mayor, Chewy Plays Nintendo, joined by my co-mayor, Sergio. Today, we will be doing a final recap of E3 and how we are feeling now that it has been a week. We will also discuss the new projects we have going forward, so I hope you have fun listening to this episode. Hi Sergio, how you doing?
Hello, Chewy. Hello, everyone. Well, I'm sure, you and many of us on the Discord, I'm still recovering.
Yeah, I don't know, for me it feels like kind of a long week. Like so much happened since then. That whole Tuesday feels a bit like a blur.
Right,
Yeah, it was fun overall, but at the same time it was disappointing, you know.
right.
Um, so I guess just to start it off, let's go with our post Nintendo Direct thoughts. So I did a follow-up video after E3. It was on YouTube, so anybody who just listens to the podcast and didn't see this video, I just kind of talked about what my different feelings were before the show, during slash right after the show, and at the point of recording, like 2 days after the presentation.
Right.
It was a roller coaster of feelings. How are you feeling, Sergio? Like, what were your thoughts? I guess what were your thoughts on like my own feelings? Did you relate to that?
Oh, yeah. I think they really couldn't have been very. My feelings were very similar to yours. I had to work that day for. After the presentation, I had to work half a day, and during work, I was just taking angry notes like, why this, why that, and Nintendo forgot about Animal Crossing. They don't care about us, you know. So it was going to be kind of like a rant, a rant video. So, but I slept on it and I've come down a bit. And yeah, it is still disappointing, but I really wish we could have at least been told, that it's in the works and maybe they're just not ready to really, really show it.
Yeah.
Mm, but I'm just hopeful that Nintendo knows best and they're working on it, but they're just not ready to let us know for whatever reason. Even though I still think this E3 was the best time to really show it.
Yeah, I'd say if you all listen to the last podcast slash the last couple of podcasts, since there've been so many back to back, yeah, essentially my feelings were like right before, like the day before, I was like, this is it. This is finally the day that we're gonna get Animal Crossing, you know? I was so ready to see it announced, see it, what it looks like. I just want to see what it looks like. Oh, and then E3 happened, and I was just like, okay, so it's not time yet. When is it time? I instantly went to like, I don't know, I feel like the game's coming out in 2020. And
Oh,
I think I shared those thoughts last podcast, you know.
right.
Um, but then in the recap video, after sleeping on it for a day or two, usually it was like a couple days that it took me, but I thought, Nintendo actually let a lot of people down, you know.
Right.
There was not much shown at that E3. If you're a Smash fan or a huge Smash fan, then you got exactly what you wanted, you know. You
Yeah.
got a huge Smash game. It's the ultimate Smash game, one could say. But on top of that, like the whole direct that they did was pretty much aimed at Smash fans, right?
Yeah. Right.
And so then I thought, the only thing they really announced that we didn't know about was Super Mario Party, which that was the most exciting thing for me, outside of finally seeing Fire Emblem. Um,
Mm,
but those were essentially the three Nintendo games there, you know?
yeah.
There was Smash, Fire Emblem, and Super Mario Party. And
Right.
there was a little bit of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, but we had already seen a good trailer for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like there wasn't too much at that show,
Hmm.
and pretty much everything got left out. So it makes sense to me. I'm like, okay, Animal Crossing got left out, but so did everything else.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of okay with that. Um,
Right. Right. I think overall, it was a kind of disappointing in three from everyone, really. There weren't a lot of surprises, I thought, and a lot of games were shown for like the second or third year in a row, and a lot of games were shown again, and they still don't have a release date. So even Nintendo didn't show much, I guess, but mostly because it's Smash, and we're getting Smash. That's huge. But actually, a friend of mine, when we were watching the presentation, we were thinking, well, what if Nintendo had held on to the Pokemon announcements and saved them for E3? Maybe that would have made things more exciting.
I totally agree with that. I mean, the whole Pokemon announcement, like, it still confuses me to think that they announced it the way they did, like doing that private presentation, with just industry people, just the news people.
Yeah,
Um, so I just feel like that overall wasn't handled well. They should have just saved it for E3 because it was the
yeah,
week before. And I was like, we only have to wait a week.
yeah, yeah.
It's not that long a wait.
Right, right. Because, imagine the Nintendo presentation as we saw it, but also including reveals of, Pokemon Quest is out now, and then Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, it's coming this year, and they're very different. And not only that, but you have your core series game coming in 2019. I think that would have been awesome to see at E3, but I guess Game Freak wanted to do their own thing, and Nintendo was okay with it.
Yeah, they consistently do their own thing. But I think this year in particular, like hearing you list all of those things, I would have been like, that would have been a crazy E3. I would have been like blown away if all of a sudden we went from knowing about one Pokemon game that's on the way to all of a sudden being like, there are three Pokemon games, one's available
Yeah,
now. um, like Pokemon Quest right after the show, one of those surprise releases. And then
yeah.
here's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. The rumors are true, everyone. It's coming. But then also, we're making a real core Pokemon game, Generation 8. It's on the way.
Yeah.
That would have blown me away. Like that on top of the Smash. And then,
Hmm.
yeah, just the Smash taking so much time of it. I think Pokemon would have like mellowed that out
Oh,
a little
yeah, yeah,
and put each of those announcements at a good time.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I agree. I think you and your friend, you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So I guess like one of the things I was looking into, just kind of going back to Nintendo not showing that much. I think this is kind of an in-between year for everybody. I
Hmm.
know everybody is like in the process of making games. They're not really dates or anything. And when I was looking up the Nintendo like software planning and development division where
Hmm.
they do all of their, development for the games,
Right.
the list for 2018 is slim. From like
Hmm.
Nintendo's own studio, there were only 3 games on there.
Oh.
Um, I forget which ones they were, uh, but it's kind of not any that we already know about.
Hmm.
Like Smash is Bandai Namco, Metroid
Yeah.
is also Bandai Namco.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I forget who's doing the Yoshi game, but that's not even under Nintendo's own development
Right.
studio.
Right.
So I think the best thing that happened at the E3, now looking back at it after my initial anger and disappointment, was when they cut to their Japan office.
Hmm.
And the person was saying, this is only a little bit of what we're working on. We've got a
Hmm.
lot more on the way. I think they knew that we weren't getting too much. And so they're like, we're working on more, everyone. The other games that you all want are coming, but we're not ready to tell you yet.
Right. Right. I guess that was their warning in a way, and we should have believed them right then and there.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard not. I don't know, to take that message in that short a time span.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Um, yeah. So I guess just to get your ideas on this same kind of thing, since I already kind of made a video and people can look at it. how are you feeling before the presentation?
Well, I was right there with you. You know, I thought it was the perfect time to go for it. New Leaf had just passed its 50th year anniversary in North America. Pocket Camp was out and it was building hype. Everyone online was talking about it, you know, building even more hype. I really thought this was the perfect opportunity to either really show a lot of it or to at least announce it and say, yeah, we're working on it, you know, acknowledge the the fact that people are hungry for Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I was right there too. I really thought it was time. So then, how did you feel during slash after? Because I know for me, like when it started, I was like, "Oh man, 2019 games, here we go,"
Yeah.
and then it went crashing down by the end.
Yeah, yeah, I was still hopeful, but then when they started talking about Smash, I was with my friend, the same friend, and I told him, "Oh man, no Animal Crossing," and you know, I was really sad. I wanted to enjoy the Smash Brothers announcement, but I was just, you know, no Animal Crossing. It's over. They're not gonna talk about anything else.
Yeah, uh, not even like a one more thing after that,
Yeah,
which I feel like they like doing that. It's fun when they do that.
yeah, right, right.
Everybody gets so hyped. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I get more."
Yeah, it would have been
uh,
great if that one more would have been Animal Crossing, you know?
yeah. Or in what your friends talked about too, like if it were Pokemon as well. And
Yeah,
no, and we hadn't seen anything. I
right,
think
right.
that would have been cool.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was a very bittersweet moment. I really like the way that Smash Brothers Ultimate is coming out. But man, right then and there, knowing that we're getting anything related to Animal Crossing at all, it was sad. It was really sad, and you know, it still hurts.
Yeah, and I'm also excited for Smash. I still, I play that game, of course. I play a lot of different Nintendo games,
Hmm.
so it's fun to have those characters. I think the one thing that disappointed me in Smash is I want to see the new villager design
Oh yeah,
in the game.
right.
I'm like, all right, we all know the villager, the little chibi kind of body. But I want to see it with legs. I want to give me the
Yeah.
option to change my clothes.
Yeah, yeah, right. Or you know what I've always wanted is if you were able to upload your villager from New Leaf into Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that would be the best because I know that's what always bothered you about the villager.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, not even that. We're not getting a new game. We're not getting updates to the villager in Smash. There was just no Animal Crossing.
Yeah, so now that it's been a week, yeah, it's been a week since that presentation. We've gotten to sleep on it. We've
Mhm.
gotten to take in more information. How are you feeling at this point?
Well, I feel better about it. You know, I've been thinking maybe Nintendo didn't want to share their news when everyone else was doing the same thing because during E3, all the press is talking about all the games that get announced by everyone, you know, everyone that attends. So things can get lost and maybe Nintendo wanted to hold on to the bigger cards for something bigger. Maybe they thought, you know, we have Smash. As far as surprises go, we have Super Mario Party, and it has online play. That's good for now. We can go with that, and we'll hold on to a bunch of stuff to talk about in our own presentation or Nintendo Direct later this year. You know, when we feel like it, or when things are quiet, so that the press can focus on their announcements instead of covering everyone at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense because, Nintendo throughout the year always we get Nintendo Directs,
Hmm.
And it's their chance to like just own whatever news they're putting out, whatever day they're putting out. Because,
Yeah,
yeah, you're totally right. With E3 going on and so many companies announcing so many different things, it's easy for anybody to get lost in there.
yeah,
Even the big three companies, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they're yeah, just the news that they put out is going to be mixed in with so much other news that's put out
yeah.
that in that 3 day span.
Right, right.
So, yeah, it seems like a good play for Nintendo to like save their cards for a later date. I just hope so bad that that later date is soon.
Yeah, right.
I expect that we're going to get maybe a late summer Nintendo Direct, but I expect it
Mm,
more like fall, you know? Just because June is it's pretty close to the summer right now.
mhm.
I think their direct schedule this year has been a little more scarce than last year.
Right. Yeah.
Last year, I think they were just like definitely trying to hit it hard with new games, bunch of news all the time.
Mm,
They really wanted the Switch to have a strong first year, you know?
yeah.
And then this year, it seems like they're slowing down, building up speed for the year that's coming up.
Mm,
Because overall, it's been a quiet year for me. Um, I don't know how you felt about it, but I know it's strange when the very first direct of the year, the thing that got me most pumped was Mario Tennis, and
mm.
that's still not even out yet. Like it's out this Friday.
Right. Right.
um, and I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be about half a year before I buy a Nintendo game,
Mm,
you know. And then now this one, but at this point now, I know Smash is coming. So the next direct, actually, I we got word of Smash, and I was like, okay, so
mm.
there's a Smash game coming this year. That's something else for me to pick up, right?
Right.
And then this E3, so this is essentially the third piece of news that we're getting from Nintendo.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, we got Pokemon and Super Mario Party.
Right.
um, oh, also, I just remembered Super Mario Party is one of those 2018 games that Nintendo themselves are
Oh,
developing,
right. Right.
um, which is pretty crazy. Crazy
Yeah.
that they're like taking back Mario Party and working on it themselves.
Right. Right. Right.
Have they done that before? Because I feel like the first few were all done by like Hudson Soft, right? And then Camelot got some, I think.
Right. Right. Everything the most recent ones were done by NDQ, which is like a second party.
Okay. Or do you think they did the 3DS ones?
Yeah, NDQ did those as well. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like they haven't done a console one before,
Yeah.
which is I'm excited because you
Yeah.
know Nintendo puts a lot of love and care into what they're making, so
Yeah.
it'll be fun to see. Um, but yeah, so there are only 3 games listed this year, whereas last year they
Mm.
had a ton of games actually being developed by them. And now
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, so this is the gap year, you know, the one where they're catching up and putting out a little bit just to keep us interested.
Mhm.
But it's very clear to me that they wanted 2017 to be successful, so they were really focused on that year.
Right. Right. Right.
And now 2018 is like, okay, we're taking a little break because we're working on other things and they need to get done. So I think 2019 is going to be big.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we should see a lot of big games announced, and that's why they weren't announced at E3. Most likely means they're not coming this year, but they could announce them this year at a Nintendo Direct when the time is right, or when they gather the resources and just go all out with a lot of big announcements.
Yeah, so I'm really wondering if it's going to be like late summer, early fall, and then maybe another one in winter, you know?
Hmm. Right, because there are still some 3DS games that they haven't really talked about, more specifically in a direct. Like, I think maybe around August before Waterworld Gold comes out, and they're also gonna talk about the Mario and Luigi remake and about Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, and then, you know, October is not too far after that, so they can always talk about Luigi's Mansion there and be like, yeah, this Halloween, get Luigi's
Yeah.
Mansion. Which I'm gonna get that because I never played through
Ooh.
the original game and I loved the second one.
Oh yeah.
So I
Nice.
know I'm gonna be picking that up.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Um, yeah, so I guess what are you thinking? When are you thinking that we're gonna be, I guess, getting more directs this year?
So I'm thinking we're gonna get the more 3DS one around August. and then a bigger one for Switch games probably sometime around the fall. And I know we know that one is coming because Nintendo said, Yoshi is not coming in 2018. We're gonna talk about it more this year in 2018, and it's coming in 2019. And I think right then and there they're gonna show more games that are also coming in 2019.
Yeah. And it's always very weird because, you go into E3 and you expect the big news type of stuff to come out, and then it ends, and then you're like, oh, now I'm really excited for the next thing because I didn't quite get what I wanted yet.
Right.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty fun. Um,
Yep.
so I guess real quickly, I saw you wrote a little thing, the 5 stages of Animal Crossing grief. Did you want to go over those for me?
Right, right. We have the five stages of depression, and honestly, I don't think I had any denial. As soon as we knew there was no Animal Crossing, I think I just had anger, and then more anger. But I think my anger was different from yours. I wasn't thinking it was gonna be a 2020 game. I was thinking worse. I thought, well, it wasn't announced. I don't think it's coming next year. They're probably not working on anything. Animal Crossing might be the next F-Zero. It's gonna be like a decade before we see a new game. Uh,
Oh,
but
yeah.
but as time passed, I feel like I'm still bargaining in a way. I'm thinking that a big upcoming Nintendo Direct might include Animal Crossing announcement. But I think it's time now that me and you and a lot of members from our Discord we come to terms with what happened, and we are in acceptance.
Yeah. And, you talking about this, it kind of reminded me of how I felt last year after E3.
Hmm.
Um, Last year after E3, I didn't think Animal Crossing was going to get announced. Did it stop me from being disappointed? No. I was still disappointed. I was like, I mean, I didn't think it was gonna happen, but it'd be nice. It'd be real good if it happened. So I remember at some point last year, maybe I think it was after E3, it might have been some directs later, but at that point, I remember thinking the longer Nintendo takes to announce Animal Crossing, the less interested I get in the entire operation.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was just like my feelings back then. And I think after sleeping on it this time around, I didn't really have those same feelings. I just thought, I know Animal Crossing is coming,
Hmm.
and we're only getting closer to it getting announced.
Right.
So I guess I feel more confident that it's coming
Oh.
than I did last year. And maybe it's like all the research I did and the videos I made
Hmm.
going, but I was like, I don't know. There are a lot of things that make sense right now. And I feel like Animal Crossing, it's been long enough. They must be working on it. And I'm just at the point where I'm like, I still think it's 2019. I
Hmm.
still think it's going to come out next year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. I think it has to.
yeah, there were some definitely signs for me that I don't know, just didn't seem like it was coming out this year. Mostly
No.
that March direct, when they announced Super Smash Bros. I was like,
Hmm.
great. This is the game that gets them to 20 million.
Right.
It's not Animal Crossing. I thought it was going to be Animal Crossing, but Super Smash Bros took that spot.
Right. Right.
Um,
Right. And back then, I don't think anyone expected to have smashed it soon, and also not something for Pokemon. Well, I personally wasn't expecting Pokemon in 2018.
yeah, I mean, I still thought it would be like Pokemon. I guess my thoughts were it's gonna be Pokemon and something else.
Hmm.
Like I always thought Pokemon was gonna be in the mix. Which is funny because initially I did not think Pokemon was gonna be it, and I was kind of right, and I'll tell you
Hmm.
why. Because I was expecting the new Pokemon game to be announced to be Generation 8,
Hmm.
totally revamping the mainline series, you know?
Right.
instead, what they did was something that makes perfect sense to me from a business standpoint, and just like, but they're going with the remakes of Yellow, which is Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And I was like, this makes more sense to me because they don't have to completely rewrite or write an entire game to
Mm.
remake a Yellow version.
Hmm.
Um, Whereas I did not believe that they could have made, I don't know, 80 new Pokemon to put
Right.
in a game, do all HD assets for it. I was like, there's not enough time. I do not,
Right.
that game is not coming in 2018 for me. And I was
Right.
right. It's coming next year. So that's the part I was right on, but I didn't foresee them remaking or re
Mm.
envisioning a game.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I thought Pokemon would be it ever since they said we're gonna sell 20 million Switches, and I was like, oh
Mm.
well, maybe they are making Pokemon because that's gonna sell 20 million Switches.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be Pokemon and something else, and that something else was Smash Bros,
Mm.
which is great, but not quite what I wanted. I still want it, but it
Yeah.
wasn't quite exactly.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, that's what you reminded me of just last year, where I
Mm.
felt like uh, I'm getting less interested in Nintendo, but now I'm like, okay, I'm interested enough Nintendo, but I know what you're really wanting to get me is still coming.
Right. Right. And hopefully, by the time they do announce it, it will make sense. We'll be like, oh, I see why this took forever to announce.
Yeah, I want it to be great. I've said it for up until last year. I was like, I want Nintendo to be take as much time as you need to get this game looking as beautiful as that Mario Kart track.
Ooh, yes.
Um, yeah, ever since I saw that track, I was like, okay, Nintendo, you do your thing. Just make sure this is gorgeous, and I'll forgive everything. I won't even care.
Right, right. Make the next game to remind us of this track every day.
Yeah, I just want to look at it and be like, this is the most amazing game I've ever seen. And because I kind of got that feeling with New Leaf. I I played
Mm.
that game and I was just like, this is beautiful. I love this game.
Right.
So it was nice. So what are you thinking? Do you think Animal Crossing is going to be part of a direct, or do you think it will get its own direct?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's gonna be part of a direct. I'm gonna go with September for the timing. I think then they're gonna talk about Yoshi and hopefully more Switch games coming in 2019 and hopefully including Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Here's my guess. If it gets announced this year, it's going to be part of a direct.
Hmm.
If it does not, I think there will be a masked announcement where they're like, "Oh, we've got a major update coming to Pocket Camp.
Hmm.
We need to have a direct to announce it." And in this case, it would be to like combine like because people are always thinking, "Oh, we thought this Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was supposed to connect with a mainline game."
Right.
And so if they're actually planning on combining, like having some sort of shared feature
Hmm.
with Animal Crossing Switch and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, I think there will be a direct where they announce it.
Hmm.
So it'll be like, oh, check out this new feature in Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. We're connecting it to the Switch title. Here's the Switch title. So,
Yeah. I think it would be the opposite of last time then when they said we're not talking about the future of Animal Crossing.
yeah, exactly. This is their chance to make it up for me. um, but also, I don't know. I guess I'm not 100% confident that Pocket Camp will connect anymore. I'm convinced that that was being thought of for connection with New Leaf.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so yeah, I kind of don't think it's gonna happen, and I kind of don't want it to happen anymore.
Right. Right, right. Please don't.
because I know a lot of us on the Discord have gotten to the point where we're like, we don't want to play this game anymore.
Right.
I know I haven't touched it like at all this month yet.
Right, right. A lot of us after E3, we just decided to finally stop playing Pocket Camp, and in a way, it was a type of protest. We're trying to see if Nintendo would notice that people are not playing Pocket Camp anymore. But not only that, a lot of us, and myself included, we were already thinking of stopping because it doesn't give you the same Animal Crossing experience that we're used to. You know, it's very stressful, and you have to keep playing it every few hours for the umpteenth gardening event. You know, so it's not really Animal Crossing. It's not the experience we're used to, not the experience that we want.
Yeah, and yeah, I say it all the time that I just feel like Pocket Camp is so demanding
Yeah.
with your
Yep.
time. Each cycle happens every 3 hours, but you spend an hour to do them.
Yep.
And I'm like, I could just play an hour of Animal Crossing and
Mm.
that's it for my day. And I feel good. I feel great.
Right.
I feel refreshed.
Right. Right. Relax, not stressed.
Yeah, not like, oh, if I miss this, I'm not going to be able to catch enough fish to finish this contest.
Right. Right. Or thinking, oh man, I have to wake up at 2 a.m. to do more fishing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's so much going on in Pocket Camp that needs you to play constantly. And I think that's what hurts the game for me.
Hmm.
Um, and it's funny because I'd hear, my friends who are casual Animal Crossing players, they tend to think of Animal Crossing like you have to play all the time.
Hmm.
Um, or you're punished. And I'm like, you only really have to play once a day, and usually you're good.
Right. Right. Right.
If you play thoroughly, you're fine. But really, you don't have to stress out. It's Animal
Yeah.
Crossing. It's a relaxing game.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be fun.
Right. I think as far as punishments would go for not playing, one of them is the weeds in your town, which isn't really too much of a concern, really.
Hmm.
But I guess the biggest one is your villagers leaving without warning. But as long as you play a little bit each day or even every other day, you pretty much avoid that.
Yeah, it's not too hard to keep up with Animal Crossing. It
Right.
is too hard to keep up with Pocket Camp.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the part where they're both different.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so yeah, we're moving on from playing Pocket Camp, and we're not moving forward. We're moving back at this point. So I've picked up Old Leaf, as I like to call it these days. It's Animal Crossing New Leaf. You so graciously let me borrow your 3DS with capture capabilities.
Hmm.
And I've been having so much fun with it. And I think it's also making me more obsessed with New Leaf again.
Hmm.
But I bought a new copy of Welcome Amiibo,
Hmm.
and I'm now playing through the game again. I've started a new Haken,
Right.
and I guess my goal is to just like have this be my final Animal Crossing New Leaf town to say goodbye to the game.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm probably planning. I think I'm planning to play it up until they finally announce Animal Crossing Switch,
Ah. Okay.
and then from there, yeah, and then from there, I think I'm gonna take a break just to be like, all right, got to starve myself from some Animal Crossing, so I'm ready to play the next one. Yeah. So yeah, if you didn't catch it, I did a live stream. Unfortunately, the quality of the live stream after the fact is not the best. It's kind of stretched out in a weird way.
Hmm.
I'm gonna record them myself from now on, so I can upload it with much better quality. Um, but I started a new town in the live stream, and I got a great layout. I've got really cute starting villagers, and it's just got me so excited to play the game.
Yeah. Bo. You have Bo. You already won.
Yeah, the deer Bo lives in my town. I also have a little leopard named Leonardo.
Oh yes.
He's so cute. And I have Mathilda, the black kangaroo.
Ooh,
She's
nice.
great. And then I have Angus, who is like a steer.
Hmm.
And who is my last one? Felicity.
Yeah.
I've gotta have a cat in there. And Felicity is one of my favorites, so I'm
Ooh,
pretty happy about having her.
nice.
So yeah, what did you think of the live stream? What are the videos that I've posted for that?
Oh, I think they're great. I love the content and yeah, now you have a great town. You have the beach on the right.
On the left. I don't want the beach on the right anymore.
So you got the beach where you wanted it. I think it's great that New Leaf is still very good, you know, and we're doing sort of an homage to these to this 5-year-old Leaf and keeping the spirit of Animal Crossing going while we wait for news on Animal Crossing Switch.
Yeah, 5-year-old leaf. I like that. Yeah, and I'm hoping people enjoy it and just like see it as like a goodbye to the game. I know a lot of people
Mhm.
on our Discord have recently started new towns, and
Right.
I think it's great. I think now's the time to do it because I really
Hmm.
do believe that the next Animal Crossing announcement is coming by next year.
Hmm.
If it doesn't, then I'm gonna question everything for sure.
Right. Right.
Um,
You make a good point. If we don't hear about it by this time next year, even after E3 2019, then it's time to really, really be concerned.
and it's time to sell our Switches. I probably won't do that because I have a lot of games that am still having fun with.
Hmm.
I play so much Splatoon. um, but we're gonna sell our Switches. But yeah, I think if we don't know about it by this time next year, I'm gonna be confused.
Hmm.
Really, really, really confused. Because at that point, the game is 6.5 years old in Japan, 6 years
Right.
old here. That is so long. We've never had a wait like this for Animal Crossing.
Right. Right. And
Um,
Pocket Camp is gonna be a year and a half old by then.
yeah, that's weird too, because I thought Pocket Camp is not supposed to be our Animal Crossing game. Pocket Camp is supposed to be what gets us excited about a new Animal Crossing
Right.
game.
Right.
But now it just gets us depressed. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It was supposed to be the lead in to the future.
yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's got to be here. But yeah, anybody who is sad about the Animal Crossing thing, watch the Let's Plays that I'm posting. Come for the live streams. It's going to be tons of fun. We're saying goodbye to this game.
Yeah.
I promise you that we're saying goodbye. It's not going to be the only game that we have right now.
Right. Right. It deserves a goodbye.
Yeah. So I've been playing New Leaf, and you've also been kind of thinking of ways to improve upon the New Leaf formula, right?
Right, right. Reason being, I also started a new town recently because I'm working on a little side project. I realized that I do not have MP3s of KK Slider songs from New Leaf, you know, the ones that were introduced in New Leaf. And I don't think they're even out there. I looked for them and I couldn't find them. So I figured I would give it a shot and record them on my own. And in order to do so, I had to play a few days so that I could unlock Club LOL so that KK's letter would show up actually. And you have to play a bunch of days to unlock it. So I've been doing that. And just playing New Leaf again, you know, I love how you pick it right back up and to me it's like I'm on vacation again, you know. But also how great it is to be back in the world of Animal Crossing. At the same time, however, I do notice a couple of things that really should be improved by now.
Yeah. So what kind of things are you thinking?
So, for example, we talked about it a couple of shows ago about the snowballs, how if you have visitors over, you're not able to roll the snowballs to make the snowman or the snow family. So there's that one, and then also there are no bees around to catch or that could sting you. You cannot participate in the bug off or the fishing tournaments when somebody is visiting. You cannot change the town tune. You cannot make changes to the patterns. And then I saved this one for last because a couple of weeks ago, Amanda from our Discord came over to my town because it was Walker's birthday and she wanted to give him a present. So she got it, she wrapped it up and came over, and we both went to Walker's house, and nothing was going on. So we were both surprised, and as we were playing, I looked it up, and yeah, turns out that if you have visitors over, the villagers don't celebrate their birthdays. So I told her, leave me your present, and I'll give it to him later. And yeah, the moment she left the town, I went over to Walker's house, and it was a hardcore party going on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy like all the things you can't do when just somebody's in your town and visiting, even in your house, you know. I know you can't like
Right,
rearrange furniture when somebody is visiting.
right.
Yeah, so there's so many like limitations. One thing that I thought of that could be improved upon, like if you are a fan of putting paths on your town,
Mhm.
um, chances are there's not a lot of space to drop
Mm.
items. Say you're trying to give somebody some bells or a piece of furniture, you have to go to that one spot in your town where you're like, oh, here, I can drop it here. I think you should be able to drop items on, um, a pattern.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect
So,
sense.
yeah, there are a bunch of little things that I feel could definitely improve in the gameplay.
Right. Even the separation between local and online play, you know how the game asks you if your friends are nearby or far away? I think it should all be combined. It should be all friends, regardless of where they are. And I think the reason for these limits is because Nintendo has been building on the same engine, probably from as far back as population growing. So they have been tweaking it to make it better and adding more content to the game. But I think what we really need is the engine to be rebuilt from the ground up, or at least revise some of the core structure of it to sort of fix these limitations. I'm hopeful that this is why. This is why Animal Crossing Switch is taking this much time, because they're addressing the fundamental issues that the engine may have, because these are things that we are legitimately complaining about that really shouldn't be happening anymore, I think.
Yeah, I really hope so. I really hope they're like taking the time to create something that's just much more smooth to play. Um, yeah, cause I mean, I feel like they've mastered kind of, getting the atmosphere ready and everything.
Right.
And, the music is always great. And the characters, I feel like they're always changing to just make them a little more, so they don't bother you or irk you the wrong way.
Right. Right.
um, so yeah, I don't know. I think the next thing to really improve upon is the actual gameplay when
Hmm.
just to make it, have a really great quality to it. So you're
Right.
not you're not running into issues constantly.
Right. Right. Just streamline the process. In I mean, it's always fun. It'll be more fun if it's simple, easy, with as little limitations as possible, so that we can focus on enjoying the new features.
Yeah. It's going to be I can't wait. I think about it even just a little bit and I think I cannot wait for this. This is going to be so great.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm doing a little Let's Play. I know that you have streaming capabilities and ways to record
Mhm.
gameplay yourself, and you want to start hosting your streams and everything, right? S-
Right. Right. Oh, go ahead.
so I was just wanting to get like your idea of like what you want to do, or what ideas you want people to suggest or recommend.
Right, right. I definitely want it to be all about Animal Crossing, or as related to Animal Crossing as we can make it. So I can do, let's plays of all the games except New Leaf or Happy Home Designer or any content on the 3DS. But other than that, as far back as population growing, we can do let's plays, or we can look at different towns, or maybe revitalize a town, an existing one. We could also play Pocket Camp if anyone wants to see that, or Amiibo Festival, or the mini games, or even doing different Animal Crossing related content like quizzes or trivias or little content contests. Just any Animal Crossing content that you guys may want to see. Just let us know.
Yeah, I think that'll be really fun. I know one of your ideas in the past has been to do a Mario Kart tournament where we just play on the Animal Crossing stage.
Right, right.
I think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the details on that one, and we're working everything out. Rest assured, we're gonna give plenty of time as announcement on the Discord and the podcast so that everyone interested can participate. And I want to do an eShop code as pricing, so regardless of where you are in the world, you could win a nice prize.
Yeah, I think it'll all work really awesome. I'm super excited about it. Um, yeah, we'll probably also play, but we will be exempt from being able to win prizes.
Right, right, right.
um, yeah, so I guess that, do you have anything else to say about the show, about anything?
Yeah, so I'm open to all ideas, and I would love to hear from the listeners directly as to what Animal Crossing you want to see. Just keeping in mind that Chewy is pretty much taking care of New Leaf.
Yeah, and thank you for that, because I'm the reason you can't do like New Leaf and Happy Home Designer gameplay. Hopefully, I'll try to cover that for now, and
Mhm.
then we'll have you do a bunch of other things, which is it'll be fun.
Right.
I really wish
Yeah.
Amiibo Festival had online so I could play with you. Yeah, so anyways, thank you all so much for listening. If you want to be part of this conversation on all things Animal Crossing, join the Discord. I have a link in the description of this podcast. It's totally free to join, and you don't even have to be a patron to do it. And if you do join, you get our Pocket Camp codes. Let us know if you add us, because we haven't been logging in, but we'll add you, and that way you can at least see our campsite in ruins. um, and if you do want to be a patron, visit patreon.com/ChewiePlaysNintendo. For just $1, you can support our show, get tons of cool things. My friend codes on 3DS, Wii U, Switch. One of the big ones is my 3DS friend code right now, especially with this new Let's Play. I want to have my patrons be involved in that town a bit. I'm thinking my next thing I'm gonna do is have them vote on an amiibo card to scan in and have that villager live in the town. So yeah, I'm trying to be interactive with it.
Right.
And if you're watching or listening on YouTube, leave a comment about your thoughts on Nintendo's E3 presentation. And please leave a review for the show wherever you're listening. It helps the show gain some visibility and allows our community to grow. And once again, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week.
Goodbye, everybody.